the program and go through some simple stuff. And we'll go from there. So RPR, it's actually narrpr.com. This is not a Coldwell Banker tool. This is actually a tool that we get for being a realtor, part of the association. So this is, again, it's not Coldwell Banker, but it is branded to us. So if you have an account, you should have a login. If you don't, when you go to narrpr.com, you just hit create new account here, and I'll just click on it. You're going to need your NERDS number to be able to sign up for an account. So it'll just walk you through the steps, and then you can sign up for an account and you'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in here. So I use this a lot. It combines the MLS and tax records. So, you know, we've been seeing some more for sale by owners or things not getting put into Bright. So this will also pull in tax record sales. You know, things don't always get recorded right away. So the stuff that's not in the MLS, there may be some lag time. But if you're struggling to find comps, I would suggest trying to come to RPR or even just using this platform in general to do comps, because there are some really nice reports that you can print out as well for listing appointments and such. So this is the screen that you see when you log in here. If you are going to use this platform for reports, just make sure you update your account. So click on your, it should just be a blank bubble if you don't have an account already. Add your photo, update anything that you need to in there, so that all of your information is correct for anything you would print out for clients. So tons and tons of stuff in here. Like I said, I'm just going to go over some basics. I like to keep my trainings kind of short, just so I'm not giving too much information, but also just giving you a little bit of what you can actually do with the program and letting you guys have some time to mess around with it. So we'll just kind of start with the basic function, right? So type in an address. So this was one that I was looking at this morning. New listing, it's a multifamily, and anything you haven't done before, or even the first few times, it'll actually walk you through. It'll have these little footsteps, and it'll show you exactly what to do here. So this is saying that they've made a few upgrades. So the platform looks a little different if you haven't been in here in a while. So just pay attention to these little prompts, and it'll walk you through. I'm just going to click out of that though. So you click on, or you type in an address and you search, it'll tell you active for sale. It'll show you a list price. It'll also show you an AVM, which is similar to Zillow's estimates to a degree. So don't get too hung up on this number. They do the best they can, but if you come down here and look, it'll tell you how confident they are in their actual number. And this is 1 out of 5 stars. So don't use this as a quick check. Oh, hey, I'm not going to run comps. I'm just going to send somebody that AVM number, because it's not necessarily going to be accurate. So you can kind of scroll through here. It's listed in the MLS. It'll have all of that information here. It'll have all of the property type information. Again, it is going to be branded to us. So we do have guaranteed rate affinity over in the corner there. It'll give you school information. It'll give you the listing features, things like that. Owner facts. So it'll have their information here. So this is obviously a multifamily. This is a non-owner occupied property. So it gives you the owner's info and it gives you the mailing address. Cool thing about this is if you are searching a property that's not actually listed for sale and you know that the owner does not live in the property, this will most of the time give you a mailing address for them. So you can use that for multiple different things. We'll also give you the parcel number, municipality, all of that information down here as well. It'll show you listing history, public record history, sales and finance activity, and just tons and tons of information here. So it's a great tool. And since we're on this one, I know it's listed, but I'll just show you kind of the ability to create a CMA. Actually, let me go back to let's find a single family house to do that. Where was I searching? Let's go. Throw out a random address. Give me something that's not listed for sale. Anybody? Not listed.
I will.
What do you got, Bob?
On Faulkner Street,
What's the number?
I think it's 319.
319. Faulkner, like the car dealership?
Yeah.
Faulkner Street Camp Hill. All right, cool. So click in. This one's not listed for sale. Again, the little footsteps will show you things, little tips and tricks. What's up, Justin? We got Justin Prince joining.
Oh, you're Zoom?
I'm on Teams as well. You're good. Cool. So let's show you off market public record. Last time it sold was August 24th of 21. There's an RVM here. And this one is showing that they're a little more confident. Again, don't necessarily use that, but it's a good little judge. Yeah, looks like I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
It's different than the file I have.
Mhm.
It's a regular picture, man, shown with
Okay.
large attached. That's a different picture.
Okay, well this will pull Google Street Views.
Oh,
This,
16.
Huh?
Here, that's
oh, well,
16.
would you like me to change the address? All right.
Please. I know.
All right, we're changing it up for Bob here. All right, so again, you just type in the address. Same concept here, click into CMA. You're gonna confirm the facts. So this is important if you are using this to do CMAs. So this is pulling public records. So if you have a client that may have done something and did not get a permit for it and is not part of public record, that's something that you may need to change and update here. Also probably caution them against doing that in the future. Anyway, so you're gonna go through, make sure everything here looks correct as far as you know, confirm fact. Oh, what are we looking for? Why are we getting an error? Uh-oh. All right, let's try this again. Public record. All right, confirm facts and close. All right, nope. What's going on? Let's see. We can add something. This usually works just fine, but of course, because I'm here.
I couldn't pull up your Hamilton Street either.
Well, that would be lovely if I'm doing a training and RPR is having problems. Okay, there we go. Maybe. Let's see what happens. Find comps. Yes. Okay, so it went through there. So it was just a little bit of a glitch, and I'll show you what I did there because I clicked through too quickly because I was getting nervous it wasn't going to work again. So it'll say confirmed here. You can always edit that if you find out more information. And then you want to hit find comps. So again, this is pulling everything from Bright and everything from public record. So you can kind of adjust these things just like you would if you were doing a market analysis in Moxie or in Bright. This was always my preferred system just because I thought it was pretty easy to use. And then also it did pull public records. So it's going to ask you what time frame. So we're going to go 6 months here. And then it'll give you a breakdown based on the public records of the comps in terms of beds, baths, and living area. You can adjust these as necessary depending on the property and how you see fit. If you think you have a price range in mind, you can actually use the price range factor as well. I don't typically suggest that necessarily. Once you have that, you just hit search down here and it's going to pull up everything. So we have a lot and it'll sort by distance, which is kind of nice, right? Because obviously the closer it is, the better comp usually, just because it's going to have same neighborhood, same school district, all of those good things. So right here, we're looking at this one. It is 3 beds, 3 baths, built in 82. What do we got here? 3 bed, 2 bath, built in 66, 1,100 square feet. So again, you all know how to pull comps for the most part. So when you're ready to put in whatever matches best or what you think matches best, you're just hitting add comp to list, and it pulls it directly over here. Yeah, so these are all going to be closed. So that's how it'll be. These are the closed sales. You just pull them over as many as you see fit. Nope, you just click that button there, Bob. Add comp to list, and then it pulls directly over. And if you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to click that one, you just hit remove. It'll ask you if you're sure, and then that one then goes away. So good stuff there. As many as you want, click them over, and then it will also show pending. We have a pretty large area here, so let's scroll. down. Active and pending is also going to be down here as well. Now, we all know until it's closed, it's not an actual comp, but this will give you a good idea of what else in the neighborhood and how close is for sale, is about to close, and you can potentially go into Bright from here and see when that potential close date is to see if that will then be a new comp once your house gets listed and gets under contract. So I don't typically add the pending or active to my comp list, but it's just good information to have. So we'll scroll all the way back up here. Once you're ready with your comps over here, you just hit update valuation and close. And then it's just going to give you an average. So as we know, we don't typically work on averages here. So if you are going to print this and do a presentation for your client, and give them this information, I would suggest probably not using a value, using a range of what you think is possible there. We know most people are going to want the top of that range, so just be aware of that when you're going in. So the average there was 238. So we're going to say 200 to 240, right? Save, and then you can create a report here. So there are tons of different reports. I will say 81 pages, you're going to put your sellers to sleep. So you probably don't want to do that. But if you click this little plus sign over here on the end, it will show you all of the pages and information that's in a report. And if you click on the little I, the information over here, it'll show you a mock-up of what that page looks like in the actual report that you're getting. So some of these are probably not going to be necessary.
There's an executive property.
Okay.
And so he's getting so much stuff now.
Mhm.
So 80 some pages.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
12 maybe?
so I never suggest between comps and a presentation, never more than 20, and that's even on the high side, right? So you're giving them comps, you're giving them value from yourself and from Coldwell Banker. And anything more than that is just going to be a bit overwhelming. In my opinion, everybody has a little bit different. But so, like I said, a lot of these sales and finance activity, so some of this stuff, if you have a super analytical seller, they may want to know some of this information. But really, most people just want to know the comps. And the reason this one usually gets so long is because it'll do a side-by-side comparison. So let's find the comp page, your comps. So it'll do a map view. Let's get that to the top there. A map view. So it'll target your property, and then it'll show you exactly where the comps that you chose are in relation to that. I think that's a good visual for people so they can say, oh, my house is here. The comps you're choosing are a street over or 3 houses down. And then it'll also give a breakdown of what else is out there and available. And then it'll give you a side-by-side. It's in one of these. Here we go. A side-by-side of the property and then the comps that you chose. So I think these are the ones that I think people really like. Bright has an option for this as well, but it's really just a summary of your property and the properties and how they compare. So if you're going to use this, I definitely suggest using those forms as well. So once you select exactly what you want in here, you hit this run report button, and then it's going to generate in the background. So you can actually click out of it and go back to doing whatever you're doing. And once it's done, you'll get a little doorbell ding and it'll be in your reports here. So it's kind of cool little tool to have in here, and it'll tell you up here it's finalizing as well. Yes, Bob.
Okay, now you want to have, I see that she has pretty pictures over there. So can you download photos into the subject property?
You could potentially. This most of the time, you're probably not going to have like a well done photo if you're going on a listing presentation, right? So it'll most likely just show the Google Street View. But you can explain that. Or some people have their own buyer and seller presentations. And then, so something that I did was I had like a packet. This is my seller presentation that I created through Moxie. And then I would come into RPR and just pull the comps and then add that to my presentation. So different strokes for different folks, obviously, but there's a few different options in here to be able to do. Yes, Nancy.
So why would you choose RPR over Moxie using Bright for your comp?
So You walked in a little late, so
I know.
it's okay. So RPR is a combination of public record and Bright. So Moxie is only pulling Bright information. Bright is only pulling Bright information, but for sale by owners, private sales, all of that is going to be an RPR as well.
So I used this years ago.
Okay.
So what is it? AVM and I forget what the.
Yeah. So the AVM is like a
valuation-
Zestimate. I was saying it's only so accurate.
Which one?
AVM. That's what RPR uses, is an AVM.
I thought there used to be two options for that.
Mm-mm. Nope. So I'll pull that back. So Nancy's asking about
Because I
the
used
property
it, like I
value.
said, I used it years ago.
Yep. So, well, oh, RVM, I'm sorry. RVM is what's in here. So if you click on it, estimated values are generated by an automated valuation model that uses on-market and off-market MLS listing data plus
So it
public record and
doesn't say
data.
AVM
It
anywhere.
does, it says RVMs and AVMs are available for single family residences. So it's not really dictating what the difference is. But again, pull comps, like that's part of our job, right? So we're not using auto-generated tools based on zip code and sales, because that's not how this market works.
So this looks different. So did they update it?
They did. Yep.
So do I need a new sign in?
No, your sign-in will still work. It's just updated. And so
Change my profile name.
yeah, and every time, so because it's updated, a lot of times, so I'll show, the next thing that I was gonna do so we're gonna hit home here to go back to the main screen. So report has been, okay, so this is what you get when the report is done, and then you can download it, or you can even email it to a client if you would want to email in a PDF format. So if you want to work a little bit on this after, Bob, we can talk, but I'd like to kind of get moving along so that we can get people.
I'm just pleased.
Yeah, no, this is a really good platform. So next one, prospect for clients. So when you hit these, see this is Nancy, this is what I'm saying. So it'll give you little footsteps and tell you exactly how and where to go for things. So this is asking you what you're prospecting for. We're going to choose sellers here, and then it's going to say, okay, go to the research button. We're going to click on the research button. Next, click on the map search. So we're going to click on the map search. And then you can really dive into this as much or as little as you want to. Make sure you're on the residential. It's telling you that. If you're searching for commercial property, you can do a similar thing as well. And then you can enter a zip code or an area. So I was doing this earlier just to kind of mess around with it a little bit. So if we go to Mechanicsburg, obviously tons and tons of things in Mechanicsburg, and it's telling you too many results, over 5,000. So there's filters here. So depending on what you're looking for, you might want to add or change some of these filters. So it's saying property type.
Hey, Danielle.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. What if is there an option for mixed use if it's both residential and commercial on two parcels, but it's all deeded together?
I don't believe so. It's,
Okay.
I mean, you would have to not a search for prospecting. It may be available if you're just searching to find out information on the property. I'm sure it'll be
Okay.
in there, but in terms of prospecting, no, unfortunately. Not
Okay.
that I've found, at least.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So in here, you obviously, if you're prospecting for sellers, please don't choose for sale. Yeah. Anyway, so public records, and you can choose property type. So if you're only looking for single family, you can unclick those. We still have over 5,000. All right. So this is you can choose a sale price. So if you're looking to target a specific price range, right? We all have that sweet spot that, is where we typically sell most of our houses. Yes, we might do some lower, some higher, but some of us might have that price range. So we're just going to go in here, 2,000 to 200,000 to 400,000. What do we got? Still over 5,000. Okay. You can exclude pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, and foreclosed homes if you want. Other side of that, you can specifically search for those items in here as well. So that's kind of a cool thing. If you're trying to find people that are struggling to pay their mortgage, please just tread lightly, be nice. If you are reaching out to them, it's probably a sensitive topic, but you can dial this down as much as you want. So owner occupied or absentee owner, right? So if you're looking to target somebody that lives in the home and that wants to sell their home and buy another one, owner occupied, absentee owner, either the house is vacant or they have tenants living in the property. So we're just going to go ahead and I want to make this a little less than 5,000. Well, all right, we'll keep going here. So we'll go owner occupied, year built, and you can even do time owned, right? So 0 to 5 years. We've been in a market where if you've owned a house for less than 5 years, you can still sell it for a profit. That's not a normal market. And we may or may not, I'm not making predictions, be going back to a market that is not necessarily going to happen, right? So year built, say you just want to focus on some of the older homes in Mechanicsburg Borough, right? So we're going to go 1850 to 1920, owned for 5 to 10 years. And then we're going to hit update search here. Let's see how many we got. We have 52 properties. That's kind of cool. That's still a lot. But so the reason I was showing you this tool is actually because you can create mailing labels directly from here. So a lot of people, I know we have other platforms where you can do that, but this one is also pretty neat as well. So if you don't want to use the boundary, say you're just looking for a specific neighborhood, or you just want to say, okay, remove boundary, I'm going to stay on one side of Main Street here in Mechanicsburg. So we're going to use a polygon. We're just going to draw here. Okay, we're going to come out to here. We want to keep Elmwood in there. And then we're going to drop it off there. So it's telling you how many acres is in that lot. That's just kind of cool. Search this area, and then it'll bring up properties there. So we're down to 27. So you can say, okay, I'd like to mail to these 27 homeowners. You hit mailing labels, choose whichever mailing label it is that you are using, and it'll tell you right here how it's going to be set up. Suggestion, owner name and or current resident. Otherwise, if that person is not associated with that address, you'll get that back. It's just extra cost that you don't necessarily need. Here again, you can choose owner occupied or absentee owner, or all, and then exclude listed properties. You don't want to be, I mean, there's no benefit to you marketing to listed properties, and you're not allowed to. So please don't do that. But you can also save this as a CSV file, so a spreadsheet. So if you don't want to come in here and search every single time, you can save it as a CSV, and then you would just hit print when you're ready to do that, and it would show you the labels, and then obviously add your labels into there. You can also save this search. So, and again, if you don't want to save the spreadsheet, you can save your search, and then you can name it whatever you want. Like, what is that? South side of Main Street? I don't know my directions right now. South side of Borough, Maine. Save, and then that's going to be saved in your searches going forward. I know that's a lot of information and going through that, but that's why I'm recording this, so that you can kind of go back and check, or I'm happy to sit down with any of you as well if you want to create a search and potentially mail to that search. So cool little feature there. There's some other stuff in here as well. So there's some investor analysis. You can really dive in deep to that if you want to. So I'll just do something quick here. So it's asking you to enter an address. So since this is the property that I was looking at earlier today, so it's going to show you the property, and then, oh, it was supposed to give me a pop-up, or is it down here? It's down here. Okay, so Valuate. This is something that is part of RPR. So it's kind of cool, but it's also only as good as the information that it has. So if you really want to dive into investment or looking into the possible, return on investment for your clients, there's some really cool stuff that you can mess around with in here. purchase, sales. So you can just scroll through these different, what are they called? Tiles, whatever, on the top. Sure, losing my words today. And then just input information. So a lot of this stuff you can actually, where was it? Rent roll. So if you're saying, okay, I know that this property right now is rented for this much, but I know that I can do some updating and rent it for X amount, you can actually change this information out here. So, okay, that one can rent for $10.50. This one can rent for $11.50, and this is this one's already updated. It's, you know, and that's all we're getting for it. And then you can save the changes, and it'll update all the information in this platform. Kind of cool. And then you can share the information, share the file with your clients if you want to. Cool. So I promised only a half hour. So we are at 1:26. So I'm not going to keep going just because there's a ton of stuff in here that you guys can mess around with and use to your benefit. Especially, again, I really like the fact that it pulls in public record as well, because we've seen a lot of off-market stuff, and new construction will obviously be in here once it settles and is filed as well, which doesn't always end up in our Bright system. So,
This is good found in
cool. I'm going to stop recording. Cool. Does anybody have any